how would you say your book can help people who are maybe have low self-esteem or just struggling in life, that mindset? What would your book help them do?
Really shift it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Brett. You ever met somebody just has such a sweet Southern presence about them? If you haven't, you're about to today. I would like to welcome my friend, Don, and I love the G because she's gorgeous, Patrice. Hey, Don.
Nice.
Hey, you gotta match the personality with the intro. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
definitely. So you are from Georgia.
Yes, born and raised. I'm from the east side.
You're a rarity, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm a unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a transplant city.
Yeah, because see, I'm a transplant from Ohio.
Okay.
So, but I think the thing I like about you is, and I'm going to just go right there, we met during the program, and the one thing I loved about you was your energy and your Southern drawl. It's just, I was like, who is that talking? And I looked around and I saw you with all this energy and everything. And as I got to know you, it's authentic. You know, some people, you'd be like, okay, yeah, you're doing too much.
Right.
But yours is authentic, and I love that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's so funny because as we mentioned before we got on camera, that the job that I'm at now, my supervisor, you know, during the interview process, you know, all went well. And so when she came in my office and I said something, she said, oh, you have an accent. I said, yeah, I'm country. It's, yeah. She was like, no, it's cute. But I tried to tame it, but I've learned to just like, girl, just talk.
What ET always say, God gave me this voice. You can't duplicate this
At all.
So use that voice.
Thank you. I will. Thank you.
Yeah. And so as you see, one of the things down here, she is a published author. And so inspirational life lessons. So what was the inspiration behind the book?
Wow, that's a great question. So honestly, the inspiration behind it was my own life experience.
Okay.
So in my mid-20s, I was trying to figure out life.
Mid-20s, you about 22. What you remember your mid-20s?
Well, you know what they say. No, not right, but you know what they say. But I'm closer to 40.
Okay.
Then yeah.
Never would have thought that.
Yes. So in my mid-20s, I've always knew I was creative. I always knew that I was different. Even when I was probably 15 or 16, what's crazy is I would always say, I'm gonna have my own nonprofit. I'm gonna work with kids. Now I'm a kid thinking this,
Right.
saying this about myself. And I vaguely remember saying something about writing a book. It would be about love, relationships, and it was something else. But I'm like, okay, life goes on. So I graduated college, 2010. So when I graduated, there was no jobs available. Right. So when I say figuring out, I would go to, I don't know if you've ever heard of the flea market in McDonough, Georgia, where people set up.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally how I survived during that time once I graduated and came back from Columbus, Georgia. Okay. So fast forward.
You graduated from CSU?
Yes.
My son went to CSU for a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's actually the school that I transferred to. I went to Bethune-Cookman first.
Oh, okay.
So I was there for 3 years and then graduated from CSU.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's a completely different experience. It was.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, night and day. So anyway, once I came back, I wouldn't keep a job. Mm-hmm. Like, my longest job has probably been 3 years. Not that I'm not a great worker,
right.
But even when I was younger, I had this thing in my mind where I wasn't created to work for somebody for the rest of my life. So as a kid saying this, and I like even having references of, you know, after church, I would sell candy, everything outside of my mom's trunk. So it's like I always had this hustle about me. Man, I'm living life, going from job to job, but I did Uber and Lyft for a long time. Okay. So I thought that was going to be my way into just entrepreneurship because I was styling, I was doing photo shoots, creative directing, doing a lot of volunteerism. Okay, I get to these jobs, I felt like I was in prison. So what I would do, I would put a post on Facebook just encouraging myself whatever was going on, I'm always positive. I've literally always been this way.
Right.
So the Spirit of God told me about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, those screenshots that the memory on Facebook would come up. So when those memories would come back, I was like, take a screenshot of it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Right. So I did it. Fast forward, once I did that, I sat on it for a while. But it's a lot. I have a lot of stories. I'm like, no, okay, because I can talk. So, I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to tell you everything.
Okay.
So, what was it, 2020? I think it was 2020. Spirit of God told me to resign from my job. Okay. Now, mind you, I don't have 6 months savings, any of this.
Right.
But I knew that it was God because I was married and divorced. Mm-hmm. And when I was married, before I got married, I kind of felt something like, okay, I shouldn't do it, but I was okay, I did it anyway. Hello, right. Like life lessons.
Yes.
Life lessons. So I'm saying that integral part of me not listening to the Spirit of God then when I got married, because throughout that experience, I knew afterwards, okay, that's God. Don't ever go against you and God. Mm-hmm. So when I heard God say resign, I was leaving from my mom's house. It was a Sunday in August. I think it was probably the last Sunday in August. So I'm driving home and I hear resignation. So I'm looking in the car. I know it was like, I don't know, people may think like, okay, how do you know when you hear God? It's the sound, like it's just a solid sound that you hear. And so when I heard that, I said, okay. I was real confident and bold, right? So, okay, I'm gonna resign. I put in my 2 weeks.
Right.
I was cool. But that Monday after my last day, I'm stressing. I said, oh, shoot, what am I about to do?
Right.
So anyway, fast forward throughout that year and a half of not working, God really just showed me so much in just trusting in him with all of my heart. Like, I thought I had faith before, but it's like now I have like real tough gangster faith. Like,
right.
God, whatever you say, I'm doing it for real. So that Monday, I'm stressing. My neighbor, she said, hey, call this lady. I worked for this lady maybe 2 days. I said, it's not an alignment. Because I knew, like, okay, God just told me to resign for a reason.
Right.
I got to figure out what that reason is. But in the process, I wasn't trying to figure it out. I'm trying to survive. Mm-hmm. So from that survival, I told my friend, like, okay, I only have a month left of my mortgage to, be paid.
Right.
She said, well, who's your lender? So I told her, I was like, Penny Mac. She said, oh, they have a COVID relief, Wow, that saved me. That gave me, cushion where I have to pay. Okay, cool. So I'm applying for jobs left and right. Nothing. When I say nothing.
Say crickets.
Right, exactly. So it got to a point where I said, okay, well, let me go back to, not network marketing, but brand ambassador.
Oh, okay.
So I would just pretty much promote different brands out throughout the city. Okay, that came through the end of October. When I tell you God would do certain things that was mind-blowing, when I'm on my last, and I mean almost at my last, okay, God connected me with a guy on LinkedIn to update my resume, because I paid a lady before. It still was no hits, no traction. Okay, God, what are we doing?
Right.
So contacted this guy on Instagram. I mean, not Instagram, but LinkedIn. Some kind of way we actually went to Bethune-Cookman, so we had connections. I don't know. It was just really random. But he helped me with my resume from there. Maybe 4 months, 5 months later, I got a job. But in the meantime, between time, I won't forget this story that stood out to me. It's actually a lot of things within that time that really increased my faith to the point where even though I didn't have a lot financially, mm-hmm. I was still blessed abundantly. There were times, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and that's the thing about God. It's like you hearing, and then you be like, yeah, I can do this. But then you really know it's God when it takes you totally out of that comfort zone and you have to totally depend on him. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because a lot of people think, oh, how do I know it was God? You'll know sometime by what does or does not happen.
That's real. Seriously. There was a time where when I paid the guy, he charged, I think, $300. I may have had $300 left in my account. So I called my dad. I was like, hey, can you help me out? You know, so yeah, he helped me out. But I remember after I called him, God was like, this me and you. This me and you. I had to go to my mechanic to get some work done on my car. And gratefully, because I'm really big on building authentic relationships.
Right.
And because of that, he's been my mechanic for over 10 years. And throughout the time of me not working, it's pretty much a rain check. So when I get it, he got it.
Right.
So pretty much my car was being worked on all year if needed be, and I'm not paying him anything. So he had his cousin working with him. And so he said, Dawn, how are you? I'm good. You know, just, again, being positive.
Right.
Well, he was like, well, how's work? I said, well, I'm not working. You know, I'm looking. He said, oh, you need a tip. I said, a tip? That joker walked away. He came back and gave me $150.
Oh, wow.
Random. Never has done that.
Right.
But that half of the the 300, like I gave anyway, I got the 150 back. My dad gave me, 150 and I spent, so it's like I got it back.
Right.
I was just like, oh my God, you did that. That was, because I talked, because my excitement, like, I'm feeling like this with God, like, you did, wow, you're mind blowing.
But God loves that excitement. See, we miss it because we almost take it casually, like, oh man, God did this for me. That's cool. But God, think of a parent. And this is an analogy I use with people. The Bible says you have not because you ask not, or you ask amiss. And so if my kids say, can we go to Disney? And I say, yeah, then they get excited. And they may come back like, when we going to Disney? We're going in 2 months. And they keep asking. But when we finally go, it's like, oh, thank you. It's like, we'll ask God. And then we'll be like, well, I guess he ain't going to do it. He ain't going to come through for me. And then when he come through, we be like, okay, thank you, God. Nah, when God move, it's like, what? You did this for me? Oh, shoot. I heard a guy say it like this. He said, when you pray, God blesses. You praise him, and then he blesses you more. And then he say, oh, you like that? So you praise him again, and it becomes reciprocal. The more you praise him and thank him, the more he does. And it's not that we do it to get, but it's like anybody. You show your appreciation, make me want to do more.
Yeah, that is a genuine praise and gratitude that I have. Just even the simplest things of having breath in my mind, like, I'm alive, So that's one major part, even as small as money is really low and my neighbor calls like, hey, I cooked some soup. You hungry? Just don't know. All of it. Yes. Like,
Right.
so it's just the smallest thing. And I'm like, God, you really are looking out for me in ways that it's just truly mind blowing. So within that time, he was saying, okay, you need to do your YouTube channel. Now, mind you, when I first resigned, he told, well, before that, and I didn't do it. So I said, okay, I'll document the journey, but life. So I don't have the energy. I'm trying to figure out life.
Right.
So he also stated to me, okay, your book. But I'm finna write, like a book. I ain't got no money. So my neighbor, she shared with me an opportunity for like a business loan. Okay. It's a small amount, but within that, that's actually how I was able to pay for our Game Changers course. Oh, wow. So I'm like, if I would be in this business, I'm investing in myself.
That's right.
So within that business loan, when it came down to it, I said, okay, this is the last of the loan. And I said, okay, you got to do your book. So I did my book. And when I was putting everything together, I thought I could do it on my own on Amazon. Because, I'm a little baby YouTube university student.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, YouTube was saying do da-da-da-da. Oh, please. No, that was not the move. So I wound up reaching out to a publishing company. And I thought I would have my book by my birthday, October the 15th. Mm-hmm. I did not have it. So I planned on having a soft launch intimate at my home.
Right.
And even though I did not have the physical book because of how my faith has been developing in that last year and a half, I'm like, I don't care if I don't have a book or not. Do it anyway.
That's right.
It's like you can't say, believe in yourself and all this in this book. And okay, even though you don't have something physical, do it anyway. So
Do it anyway.
I did that anyway. I printed out the cover of the book just on a sheet of paper.
Right.
And on the back, I put some of the excerpts on there that was like the place setting.
Okay.
So, people like, we're here for the South line.
I was taking notes because I'm supposed to be working on my book, so I'm taking notes right now. So.
Yeah. So, just kind of fast forwarding all of it, I was able to create this beautiful masterpiece of just my, from my 20s up until probably the top of my 30s, and just how I have been able to encourage myself.
Right.
And with encouraging myself, naturally, even at jobs I would be at, I'm the igniter of energy. Like, okay, well, I want to be here, but on Friday, we have a turn up Friday, or if somebody's going through something, people would naturally come to me. I'm like, no, it's going to be all right. This is just temporary. But I believed no matter what I was experiencing, that it would be okay.
I know that's right.
So because of that, this is my baby. And I just hope that the nuggets that I have in here will encourage somebody to believe in themselves.
And so when you talk about believing yourself, because, unfortunately we hear a lot of people who deal with mental illness, they wind up committing suicide. And it's like, you look at a person from the outside and be like, you had everything to live for. What caused this? But sometimes we don't know what people are dealing with internally. How would you say your book can help people who are maybe have low self-esteem or just struggling in life, that mindset? What would your book help them do?
Really shift it. Reading this book, and it's so practical. Like, it's no long paragraphs and a whole bunch of stories. It's literally simple nuggets that are so practical that you're like, oh, I can do that. And seriously, because I've actually shared this book with I work in a high school. So it's a 9th grader, actually.
Okay.
Sentiments of exactly what you said, suicide, cutting herself, and just talking to her. It's one thing to talk to her. And then I shared with her, some not passages, but excerpts in here. And so I said, you can borrow it. And so it was beautiful to see. The next week, I saw her in the hall. She was leaving out of her gym class, and she had my book like it was a textbook. Now, you done had this book for probably a week now, and I'm like, wow. But I was like, when you give me this book back?
What they used to say, you got to get your own, my sister.
Right, because the one that she had, it stayed on my desk. But she was like, no. She said, I am going to return it. But I blessed her with her own, and I signed it for her. But she was like, no, it's really been helping me. Because I'm like, it's written in here.
Right.
But when you read it, your mindset has to be open just a little bit to just know that I can do this for me. Yeah. I do have a reason to live. It's so much more to life than what I'm thinking now. And when you read it, you're gonna slowly feel ignited. Like, okay. Because it's more so you're talking to yourself. As you read, it's like you speaking to your own self. You speaking life into you.
Right.
Even though I wrote it, like it's for you to speak life into yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's maybe one that you can think off of the top of your head?
Oh,
that you feel like has, and I know they all have power because just your energy just magnifies. I know what's in between the pages of that book, but maybe what's one in there that you feel like is that game changer?
Oh. That's a good, hard question. That's a game.
I mean, if you want to grab it and find one, or off the top of your head.
No, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I do know I just spoke about, I think it was 59. As simple as hype yourself up. Okay. Hype yourself up even when nobody's there to support you. I'm my biggest supporter.
Right.
I'm my biggest promotional team. Because nobody's going to hype me up and support me like me. And so that's just a confidence booster for anyone. Like, no, it is me against me. There's no competition when you the one.
That's right. I'm one of one.
Hello. So it's I didn't say it verbatim, but
that got the point. And I don't want to pigeonhole you to just an author or a speaker. You do some design stuff too?
Well, image consulting.
Image consulting.
Yeah, so as far as being an image consultant, even how that came about, I've always loved to style. I've always, as they say, put that thing on,
Right.
Just, I innately have that ability to put pieces together
Right.
and make it
Good.
look.
Checking out your fit now.
Thank you. And it's like sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. Less is more. So I would style, of course, myself. And then friends would say, oh, well, can you pack my bags? I'm traveling, get my outfits together. Okay. Can you organize my closet? Okay. So I'm like, this is image consulting. However, when I would do these things for friends and family, I would also pour into them. So that's where it's not just me styling you. I'm igniting you from the inside out. Right. So it's literally everything that I do intertwines with image consulting where, hey, I'm not just boosting your confidence. You can put clothes on anytime. Yeah. But if you're not putting these clothes on, wearing it with confidence, it's just like you're putting on a facade. Yeah. So when you leave with me, you're going to feel like, oh, I know I'm that guy. I'm that girl. So.
Deion Sanders, he has this saying. He say, when you feel good, you look good. When you look good, you play good. When you play good, they pay good.
Ooh, love that. Yeah, it is.
That is one of his sayings. So we know that they're just, like I said, just your energy. I love it because so many negative Debbie Downers and pull you down people, and your energy is contagious. I love it. The book, this is my copy, so you all have to get your own, and she will sign it before she leaves. So I'm going to take it and hold it right here like that girl before somebody else try to get my copy. But I want you all to support Dawn. How can they find your book?
Okay, you can find Inspirational Life Lessons by Dawn Patrice on Amazon.com, Books and Nobles. If you're in Atlanta, you can DM me and I will pull it for you.
And your website.
Everything is I Am Dawn Patrice. Social media, Instagram, I Am Dawn Patrice. Website, I Am Dawn Patrice. However, Facebook is Dawn Patrice Consulting Services. TikTok, I Am Dawn Patrice.
All right, good deal. So this is my new favorite question.
Okay.
At the end of an interview,
Okay.
what's one question you've always wanted somebody to ask you, but they never have?
Wow. Oh, that's the what? Oh, I don't know. What is a question that
Always wanted somebody to ask you in an interview, and they never have.
you know why that's so hard? Because I'm an open book.
Right.
So I don't.
But that could be your answer, because the thing is, for everybody, it's something different.
Yeah.
To some people, like I did an interview. Do you know Sherry Rowley? Are you familiar with Sherry Rowley?
She's a speaker.
Yeah.
She spoke at one of our
Yes.
light skinned lady.
Yeah. So Sherry just did a episode with me that's going to air here in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And I asked Sherry, and she's same reaction. That's why I love it. But she said, people have asked me around, but they never asked me, why do I do what I do? And so for her, it was nobody never just directly said, why do you do what you do?
Gotcha.
And so some people, that answer is going to be different. And like you said, because you're open book, then a lot of questions may have been answered. But I always like asking it, because we feel like, oh, I know this person, or everybody knows everything about them. But sometimes there's that one question that nobody's never answered. And it's like, oh, man, what is that?
And even with you speaking about Sherry, I'm like, okay, I know people would know, okay, well, she's always spoke. She's always been the person that people go to for advice. I'm not surprised with anything that she's doing.
Right.
So that's really a great question. But where I'm at now, I'm truly walking in my divine alignment and purpose. A lot of times people try to figure out what they want to do in life, but we don't realize that when we are younger, it's already inside of us. We just live like, I don't know what to do. But what did you do when you were younger? Naturally. And naturally, even as a child, like what you see, it's crazy, because even as a little girl, I've always had an old soul.
Okay.
So that's why I say, giving the advice to people, like, you a kid. but people would listen to me. Like I've always,
Wisdom is wisdom.
yeah. So just where I'm at now, I'm a walking testament of when you have gifts and talents innately that God has blessed you with, this is what it looks like. It may not be easy to find out how to get there, but when you believe in God and believe in yourself, you just will walk into your purpose. So.
But when you think about this, Don, as a kid, like you said, God innately put something in us to do it. But we don't know what all the ingredients are to make it. Because you talked about some of the things you've done, the courses you've taken, the jobs you had. When you take a minute to stop and reflect, you'd be like, that's why I worked at McDonald's. I needed it back when McDonald's had customer service. Because I worked at McDonald's, and back then people were a norm with Chick-fil-A's customer service. That used to be the standard, almost the bottom of the standard of customer service back in the day, because I'll be 60 next year. And so that was the standard, and now everybody's blown away with thank you, my pleasure. And when you think about that, me working at McDonald's, learning to interact with customers, being friendly, and then I worked at a machine shop, understanding processes, and then working for myself for 20 years. It's like you can kind of see the culmination of what God called you, but he had to get a piece from here that you need. I was thinking about this morning. We get a job, and we say, look out, God blessed me with this job. Oh, I love this job. Best job I ever had. After about 5-6 years, you start saying, I hate this place. To me, that says your time is up. You got what you needed from there. God will he'll give you hints that it's time to go.
Right.
And I know from experience, if you don't go, they will kick you out. Right. I've been fired twice, and I kept saying, I need to go, and I wouldn't go.
Right.
And God said, oh, you need a little push? Let me help you on out the door.
Right.
And every time I went to something better.
Yes. I can say the same for me as far as, just the jobs that I've had. I can say each job, it built my character different ways. What you see now, I was not always like bright, bubbly. I had a pissy, nasty attitude. People were exactly. People are shocked. My mouth was reckless. I cut you out in a minute. Who you talking to?
Right.
Like, my disposition was very off-putting. But for what? I don't know. I was just had a nasty attitude. I would get fired from jobs because, again, I would cuss you out. If you say anything that I felt was disrespectful, it was a lot of in my feelings.
Okay.
And I learned, get out your feelings aren't facts. Right. These are things that I learned and I had to put in this book. Some jobs where I had to learn patience. I had to learn dealing with different personality types. So each job, it just taught me how to navigate life in a different way so that if I did not learn my lesson at this particular job, okay, I'm going to get it again get that same energy or spirit at the new job until I learn my lesson. So that's very powerful because I can see why I went through the different jobs, throughout my, my life, but it was literally building me to be who I am now.
Definitely.
Because nobody would know how bad my disposition was because of who I am now, but I learned to truly be at peace within myself and not letting outside energy impact who I am.
Right.
That's your own inner issue. That ain't had nothing to do with me.
Last year, God gave me 2 statements, and I had to really look at me. He said, other people's opinion of you is none of your business, but the one that really hit home for me, he said, it's called a personal opinion for a reason. Keep it to yourself.
Hello.
And so, because I could be very opinionated sometimes. And God, they didn't ask for your opinion. So, if you had to leave people with one thing, as we get ready to wrap up, what's one thing you would leave them with?
A nugget I would leave them with is no matter what you are experiencing in your life, you don't just go through it, but you grow through it. You grow through circumstances. You grow through obstacles because that's not your final destination. You have to, for one, But whatever spiritual belief you have, believe in something greater and higher and powerful and positive. Because when you do that, you know on the other end, okay, if I believe in that, I gotta believe in myself. And when you believe in yourself, there's no limit to your greatness. There's no limit to you fulfilling your purpose, because we're only here for a short time. And while you're here, do everything in your power to live your life to the fullest, being kind, being grateful for the smallest things. And those small things will amount to something greater, which is a peaceful and joyful life. So I leave you that. Be strong, be resilient, and believe in yourself.
Now, I don't even know what to say after that. If that didn't inspire you to check out the book, to check out Don's social media and YouTube, what can I say? But the one thing I will say is, thank you for joining Conversations with Brent. Please like and subscribe and share this with somebody else. Don, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You all have a great day. Conversations with Brent, connecting with people on all levels.